We're calling this week's episode of Dateline Abuja Tinubu's 45, the starting lineup for President Tinubu's cabinet. The news has been agog with assumption of office at all the ministries located here in Abuja, and the conversations have started. The repositioning, the intricacies, the speeches. Everyone is going to hit the ground running. There are meetings almost every day in every ministry because the president was very clear on his instructions to his 45. You must deliver on the mandate you've been given and you are being watched. And they are being watched. We were able to learn about their pedigree and prospects during the screening exercise. And now it's game time. How will they play? While our guest on the program helps us navigate the job ahead for President Tinubu's 45 and the challenges critical ministries must overcome in the discharge of their duties, we take a look at what the 45 have been saying since assuming office. And yes, we have a rundown of the major stories from the nation's capital in our Abuja wrap. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I am Kayla Megwa. Let's begin with an update of what happened this week in the nation's seat of power.
The ECOWAS envoy to the Republic of Niger, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, says he is hopeful that diplomacy will help resolve the political situation in that country without a recourse to the use of the military option. The former head of state said this after he met with President Bola Tinubu, who is the ECOWAS chairman, to brief him on the outcome of his team's meeting with the military junta over the weekend. The envoy, who was with the president of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Omar Toure, described the meeting in Niger as fruitful.
Our visit to Niger has been very fruitful, and that it has opened an avenue to start talking, and hopefully we will get somewhere. Like I said, we started talking. We made their own points, and then I made my report to the chairman of the ECOWAS Heads of State and President. He will now consult with his colleagues, and then the ding-dong starts, and we'll get somewhere.
President Bola Tinubu has mandated the group of Muslim scholars who recently met with the military junta in Niger Republic in a bid to resolve the political crisis in that country to continue with their mediation. The religious leaders who disclosed this after meeting with the president said the junta had been receptive during the last meeting. All they want to do is to ensure that there is no war.
Dialogue will continue. Mr. President, as the head of ECOWAS, is interested in pursuing peaceful resolution of this crisis. But like I said, nothing is off the table. Mr. President has said he should continue to engage, and the ulamas will continue to do that.
The Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, says the reality of achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals remains bleak for many developing countries, and emphasizes the need to foster global economic governance reform that enhances the representation and voice of emerging market economies. He stated this while addressing world leaders at the third BRICS Africa Outreach and BRICS Plus Dialogue on the sidelines of the ongoing 15th BRICS Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa.
As we approach the target completion date of the Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals, the reality of achieving the SDGs remain bleak for many countries, especially developing ones. Based on 1, harnessing the agricultural potential of our nations, 2, harnessing renewable energy to revolutionize Africa, 3, fostering technology, innovation and job prospects for holistic and equitable progress.
The president of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, Mr. Omar Toure, has announced that the regional body has not declared war on the people of the Niger Republic, nor is there any plan to invade the country. The ECOWAS Commission president made the declaration at a media conference in Abuja, where he clarified that a series of sanctions, including the use of legitimate force, has been activated in accordance with the ECOWAS 1999 instrument. According to him, the organization is hoping that all diplomatic efforts would result in constructive action on the side of the junta, while preparations to deploy continue, in the event that the need for such force becomes compelling.
We don't want people to be confused. The deployment of the standby force is not an invasion. This is what we want to really ask you to help people understand. It is not an invasion. It is a deployment to restore constitutional order.
In a solemn service which was held at the National Military Cemetery in Abuja, 22 of the 36 military personnel who died on the 14th of August 2023 during an ambush by bandits and helicopter crash in Niger State were laid to rest. In the presence of the Ministers of Defense, Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs, the burial was done in adherence with military protocol, while family members of the deceased watched in tears. The Chief of Defense Staff reiterated to the families the resolve of the military to ensure the deaths of these military personnel are avenged.
To the bandits, terrorists, and perpetrators of violence who seek to sow division and fear among our people, know this: our resolve will not waver. We will hunt you down. We will bring you to justice. Today, as we lay our fallen heroes to rest, let us remember that their sacrifice serves as a reminder of the price of freedom. Let us honor their memory by striving for a Nigeria where no man's lives are lost in the pursuit of peace.
President Tinubu's 45 have been screened, confirmed, inaugurated, and have all assumed office. They all seem to have an idea of what is expected of them, and they said as much in their opening speeches. This week, in our focus on the FCT, we look at these 45 ministers. What steps are they promising to take immediately to deliver on their mandates? And do we truly have this time round pegs in round holes? Please watch this. It is an event that happens every 4 years. The assignment of ministerial portfolios, followed by the assumption of office of new ministers. And with the new administration of President Bola Tinubu, the list of 45 ministers is brand new, set with high expectations on the backdrop of a country in need of desperate change. After taking their oath of office, the newly sworn-in ministers proceed to the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation to receive their certificate of appointment. As the ministers report for duties, they are received by officials of their various ministries. The first task for most of the ministers is to speak on their mandate as members of the Federal Executive Council.
In the next few days, we are going to enroll our plans for you. You're going to have a Ministry of Information and National Orientation that is open, that is transparent, that is also accountable to Nigeria.
We are three ministries intertwined together. We are, as I said to my sister here, Siamese triplets. So whatever we do going forward in the administration, we will make sure we do it in unison and together. I must tell you, I do believe that at this point, Nigeria stands on the precipice of greatness. We have always been a great nation, but we are literally on the precipice of greatness.
We need everybody to serve our country. But most importantly, we need our Minister of Orientation, we need our Sister of Arts and Culture, and we need the other ministries to collaborate with us, because without them, we cannot serve our country. We need their help.
The immediate task before the Minister of Labour is to resolve the industrial issues, and the minister says he is prepared to address them.
On the relationship with organized labour, the government through the ministry shall work closely with the NLC, the TUC, and the affiliates towards not only ensuring that all pending industrial disputes are settled amicably, but also addressing with strong determination the new minimum wage and other palliatives arising from the removal of subsidies.
The Ministry of Agriculture has the food security component as part of its mandate. And the minister, who's accompanied to the reception by Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State, is promising to synergize with the Minister of State to deliver on priority areas in the ministry.
I'm ready and I'm willing to commit 100% to the service of this nation. I think we have a big challenge, but it's not unsurmountable. Our target is not only to secure and feed the country, but also to export food, which we have that potential.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Interior, Mr. Tunji Ojo, wants head of paramilitary agencies to brace up for the tasks ahead.
We are strong as a chain as our weakest link. Rather than the weakness that will destroy the entire pyramid, we will not hesitate to take this speech. Because a single moment of loss of momentum can cause this division clearly. We are in the ministry, the heads of agencies that deal with Nigeria internal security. There's no important security.
The two ministers under the Ministry of Petroleum Resources headed straight to work as they had a meeting with heads of agencies under the ministries. They have their work cut out for them.
We will work by providing intentional and timely interventions to strengthen the entire gas value chain, covering gas exploration, production, gas distribution, and gas consumption, as well as gas pricing.
I'm here with one agenda, and that agenda is increase production. Increase production on a sustainable basis. And as a Creek boy, I'm here to provide the leadership so that we can go to the creeks and resolve all the problems that are bedeviling our production.
Clearly, the industry expectation is to see how these two men will administer policies and harmonize them for the growth of the sector. Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Mr. Uchenna Naji, has officially assumed office. For him, history has shown that no nation has grown without a focus on innovation, science and technology. He pledges to work with the staff to ensure strong collaboration with the ministry and parastatals to meet the shared objectives of the ministry.
I will offer strong guidance on the following key principles. Strong collaboration between the ministry and the agencies is vital. Let's unite and work together for shared objectives through effective communication. We are here to innovate, not to merely follow routines. Our swift and inventive actions will define us as a ministry driven by innovation.
While the Minister of State for Defense, Mr. Bello Matawale, assures that the ministry will spare no efforts in building a strong defense apparatus capable of handling any threats. The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badar Abubakar, promises that they will do their best as a team to meet the mandate of the president, who, along with all Nigerians, are desperate to see that the security of the nation is ensured.
We have to deliver for our people. We have to deliver for the country. And have the promise today with all of you that within a year or so, we will have remarkable change in the security architecture of this country. And I believe it's doable. I believe it's possible. And I will add that we will cooperate with all the security agencies in this country.
And finally, the newly sworn-in Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has vowed to restore the Abuja Master Plan, no matter whose ox is gored, promising results in 6 months. He equally promises to urgently address issues of security, revenue leakages, illegal markets and motor parks, poor transportation, among others.
All those people who are distorting the master plan of Abuja, too bad, too bad. If you know you have built where you're not supposed to build, it will go down. Be a minister of anywhere, be an ambassador. If you know you have developed where you're not supposed to develop, your house must go what? Down. Those who have taken over the green areas to build, sorry, our parks must come back. The green areas must come back. And all these people who are doing land marketing. I will talk to the staff tomorrow. There are a lot of people are involved. Yeah. And let me tell you, that period of land marketing is what? Over. And those that government are giving CFO land, allocated land to them, they refuse to develop. And use that they are becoming land speculators. The land is gone. I'm going to revoke them.
Glaring behind the pomp and pageantry of the assumption of office of the 45 ministers is the sheer enormity of the work ahead of them. And while each minister claims to acknowledge this fact in every speech we've heard this week, they must bear in mind that President Bola Tinubu and all Nigerians are watching closely to see if they do deliver on their assigned mandates. My guest on the program is an experienced community organizer and development practitioner with over a decade of experience in constitution building, governance reform, electoral governance, civic engagement, and political organizing. The executive director of Yaga Africa for the past 17 years, Mr. Samson Itodo. He joins us from Cape Town, South Africa for this interview and sheds light on the job ahead for President Tinubu's 45. Their competence to do the job, and the challenges they must surmount to deliver on their mandates. Mr. Samson Itodo, welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you very much, Kaida.
So let's talk about Tinubu's 45. That's what we're calling this week's episode. The 45 men and women of Tinubu's cabinet. When you heard the number 45, what were your thoughts?
Well, I think that this particular cabinet, the Federal Executive Council, it's the largest that we have seen since 1999. New ministries have been created, and at a time where the country is grappling with economic depression, you would expect that the administration will cut down the cost of governance, but the president has exercised his prerogative. He has increased the number of ministries and also this number. And I really think that he could still achieve his renewed hope agenda with a smaller number of ministers. But, well, the president has exercised his prerogative. And you can clearly see from the appointment a president who is trying as much as possible to balance, political expediency, to balance, clientelistic networks, vis-a-vis service delivery. There are several, round pegs in round holes. There are round pegs in square holes. In fact, there are some who are perhaps square pegs in round holes based on this appointment. But he has the prerogative. He's done so, and we'll see how these ministers deliver on the promise.
So there are a lot of questions about, these particular people that have been given these portfolios. In the beginning of the screening process, we heard the chief of staff to the president say, look, the reason why we don't assign portfolios before the screening is because they didn't want to muscle the president. He may feel like someone is more fit for a particular job. Let's talk a bit about that. What do you make of these portfolios? Did the round pegs get put in the round holes? And what areas are you seeing a bit of a mismatch?
Because I think that the president lost an opportunity to elevate and sort of break the jinx with respect to ministerial appointments in Nigeria. I thought that this president would have in his ministerial list to the National Assembly assigned portfolios, that would have put him in a different class, of president as one who is determined, to ensuring that the process of leadership recruitment, especially appointed positions, it's reviewed. And I thought that was a missed opportunity. If he had done that, he would have elevated the discussion around, this appointment process, but also give the National Assembly the opportunity, to test the competencies and the capacities of these individuals.
Well, let's take a look at the gender representation in this cabinet and, of course, the youth representation. Is it satisfactory, knowing how important it was for you at the time to ensure that youth participation in governance, not just as voters, but as people in the place to make policy, and why it's important for young people to be represented in the president's cabinet? Is this cabinet representative of the sort of inclusivity that you've been pushing for, whether it is for women inclusivity or for youth inclusivity in governance?
If we lower the standards, of measuring inclusivity compared to different or past administration, then you need to give it to President Tinubu that to a large extent, this ministerial appointment does have a reflection of people who can pass for being young, but not necessarily youth. So they are young people. You look at the Minister of Digital Economy and Innovation. Yes, in his 40s. He's young, but he's not a youth. If you look at the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, and that is Betta Edo, who is 36, fantastic. She's not the youngest minister in history, because under Jonathan's administration, there was a 33-year-old that was appointed Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, and Dr. Nuruddin, if my memory does not fail me. But you have relatively young people, not youth, in this particular ministerial list. But if you look at representation of youth, these particular appointments falls short of that requirement. And this is why, yes, good a thing the president reshuffled, the appointments he made with respect to the Minister of Youth. We hope that the next minister designate will be someone between 18 and 35, which is the age classification for young people based on the Africa Youth Charter.
Is there anything that the Tinubu administration and this cabinet can do to make Nigerians feel a little bit more hopeful? We've seen the conversations around palliatives with the National Economic Council, but with the cabinet in itself, are there things that it can do that would make Nigerians feel, okay, things could get better, maybe we should root for these people, and the accountability that we require from people in government, are we going to get it from these people?
Well, that's a very good question, Kayla. Now, you look at the coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun. You look at the minister in charge of budgets and economic planning. These are two gentlemen who have cognate experience in dealing with tough economic issues. So I have no doubt that in terms of the capacity, these individuals have the requisite capacity. Is the political will there? From what I see, yes, there's a political will. But then we must also appreciate the fact that we are dealing with very unusual circumstances. And this is why Nigerians had expected that given the economic hardship and the need to cut down, the cost of governance, the president would have shown example, by making sacrifices, by ensuring that he keeps a lean Federal Executive Council just as a strategy of cutting the cost of governance. But that didn't happen. But if you have 45 ministers, we hope that these 45 ministers will not have a retinue of aides and technical assistants that will have a toll on the nation's resources. And for the leaders who have sworn to the oath, prescribed in our constitution, they are designed to serve Nigerians and not serve people who look like them, speak like them, or come from the region where they represent.
Well, we do have to wrap it up there, Samson Itudo, but I want to thank you very much for being with us on Dateline Abuja, and good luck with all you have ahead of you. We know you're going to be watching this cabinet for a while.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. Nigerians are hopeful that Tinubu's 45 will focus on the job ahead, rebuilding Nigeria's economy and ensuring security of the lives and assets of our country. For these to be a reality, every hand must be on deck, every minister playing his or her part, accountability and growth topmost on the agenda. Time, they say, will tell. And we have heard promises from ministers in the past who didn't fulfill their promises. But something tells me that this time, too much is at stake. Residents of the nation's capital, especially, are looking at the new FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, to see if the much-needed infrastructure in the FCT is provided. And if he can restore the peace and sense of security Abuja residents have been demanding for all these years. Fingers crossed, and good luck to President Tinubu's 45. That's Dateline Abuja this week. Please let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handle showing right now on your screens. Thank you so much for watching. I am Kayla Megwa. See you next time.